I sat across the table from parents who did everything right. They saved, they worked, they planned. And one of them had a will that left a third of everything directly to their daughter, who had Down syndrome. When that parent died, the inheritance hit the daughter's bank account. And within 30 days, she was disqualified for her disability. She lost her Medicaid. The benefits that paid for her care, her medications, her supported housing, gone. Not because of a scam, not because of bad luck, because of a line in the will. There are 3 estate plan mistakes that parents of disabled children make every single day. They feel generous, they feel natural, and they're absolutely devastating. I'm going to walk you through all 3 today because if you have a child with a disability and you have not worked with a special needs planning attorney, there's a real chance that one of these mistakes is already sitting in your documents right now. I'm Greg DuPont. I'm an estate planning attorney and certified financial planner. And I've watched families lose what they worked a lifetime to build because of coordination failures that nobody caught in time. That's what we fix. So let's get to it. The first mistake is the most common one, and it's the one that breaks my heart the most. Parent writes a will, leaves their estate to their children in equal shares, and they feel good about it. They did right by everyone. Equal is fair, right? But here's what the parent did not understand. According to current governmental rules, a disabled child who receives disability cannot have more than $2,000 in accountable resources. The limit has been adjusted for inflation since 1989, so the moment that parent's estate settles and 1/3 of the house, the savings account, and the investment portfolio lands in their child's name, the child is over that limit. The government assistance stops, and the support system that you took years to build collapses. Let me make this concrete with a hypothetical family. We'll call them Millers. Tom and Karen Miller had 3 kids, including their son David, who at this time is 34 and has an intellectual disability, lives in a group home, and governmental assistance covers nearly $4,000 a month in care. Their estate is worth about $600,000. Tom and Karen die tragically. The will says 1/3 goes to each child. So $200,000 goes to David outright. The $200,000 would blow right past his $2,000 resource limit. So he loses his access to governmental assistance immediately. Now the family has to figure out a way to spend down that $2,000 before Medicaid will step back in, leaving the other siblings to deal with this problem. This doesn't have to happen. The fix is a properly drafted special needs trust. When the inheritance is directed to the trust instead of David outright, it never became David's asset. The trust owns it, the trustee controls it, and the government sees nothing that pushes David over his resource limit. The money is there for his care, his quality of life, his future. It just doesn't land in his hands in the way the government counts it against him. A lot of parents push back here. They say, hey, Greg, I trust my other kids. Can I just leave everything to them and ask them to take care of David informally? I hear this all the time. And I understand the instinct. But let me tell you what I've seen. Those arrangements fall apart. A sibling gets divorced, and the informal funds are part of that asset split in that divorce. A sibling dies early, and David's share ends up with a brother-in-law he barely knows. A sibling has a financial hardship, and the money is quietly gone. Informal arrangements are not a plan. They are a wish. The second mistake is one that surprises people most, because they think a well-drafted will protects them. It doesn't, not from this. Your will only controls probate assets. Your IRA, your 401k, your life insurance policy. Those assets pass by beneficiary designations. The will doesn't touch them. So a parent can have a beautifully drafted will that says all assets goes to a special needs trust for my daughter, and then have a $400,000 IRA with her daughter's name as the beneficiary. That IRA then goes straight to her. The will is irrelevant. I saw this exact situation play out in my probate practice. Mother had done that work. She hired an attorney, set up a special needs trust for her son with autism, updated her will appropriately, but nobody coordinated the beneficiary forms on the life insurance policy. It still named her son directly. When she passed, the $340,000 death benefits landed in his account, and the trust she paid to have drafted never saw a dollar of it. The benefits were gone. This is why I say that an estate plan is not just a document, it's a system. The will and trust have to be coordinated with every beneficiary designation on every account and every policy. If you haven't done a full review of your beneficiary designations in the last couple of years, that's the single most important thing you can do after watching this video. The third mistake is a slow leak. not a sudden break. A parent wrote a will 15 years ago. Their child was not yet diagnosed. The documents made sense at the time, equal shares to each kid. Everything outright, and then life changed. A diagnosis came. A support system was built. Social Security was approved. Medicaid coverage had begun. But the documents were never changed. Families do this for lots of reasons. They feel like updating state documents is something you do when you're old. They don't want to think about their own mortality, or they just forget. So the document that was sensible before the diagnosis sits in a file drawer, quietly waiting to detonate. According to the Social Security Administration, roughly 1 million children under 18 currently receive Social Security income in the United States. And that number doesn't count the millions of adults with disabilities who rely on the program or Medicaid coverage attached to it. These are not rare situations. These are families in every neighborhood, every town. And the vast majority of them have not updated their estate documents since the disability entered the picture. The specific danger here is distribution language. A revocable living trust or will that predates the disability often has straightforward equal share language, or language that routes assets to a child outright at a specific age, like 25 or 30. If that language is still there, the trust has to execute it, and inheritance lands in the disabled child's hands on their 30th birthday. They lose their benefits, and the family had no idea it was coming. So here's what you need to do. Pull out your will, pull out your trust documents if you have them, look at the distribution language for your disabled child specifically, and if the language says outright anywhere near that name, then you have a problem. If it was drafted before their diagnosis, you have a problem. And if it's not been reviewed by an attorney who specializes in special needs planning, you may have a problem you don't know about yet. Before we wrap up, drop a comment below and tell me where you are with this. Have you already set up a special needs trust? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it? I want to know where you stand, because your answer shapes what we cover next. So those are the 3 mistakes: leaving assets directly to a disabled child in your will, naming them outright on a beneficiary designation form that bypasses everything you drafted, and keeping estate documents that were written before the disability were part of the picture. Any one of those 3 moves can terminate Social Security income and disability benefits instantly. All 3 together in a lifetime of caregiving can be undone in the time it takes an inheritance at the bank account. If you want to know whether your current plan has any of these problems, go to our website and request an appointment, www.DuPontEstatelaw.com, or call us at 614-408-0529. We'll help you find out what's in your documents and whether you actually protected your child the way you intended. Take care, be well, and we'll see you on the next one.